Today I have a couple of tips and they are all about onions. The first one would be, how can you cut an onion and preserve your eyes so you don't go into the ugly cry? You know what I'm talking about, right? It's when the fumes of the onions hit your sinuses and all the ugliness starts to happen. Well, here's how you can avoid that. Number one, if you have a few minutes, stick the onion in your freezer before you go to cut it and chop it. Why? Because the liquid in the onion will begin to get a little bit thicker, and the moment you go to cut it, it won't instantly start evaporating into the air and mixing with your sinuses, which causes all the pain. Number two, when you go to cut your onion, leave the root end intact. The root end, and because onions are nightshade vegetables, all that moisture is thickest at the root end. So when you go to cut open your onion, if you cut it like I did, and I cut the onion 2 different times, but I left the root end intact, I peeled off the outer layer, which is very dry and you normally don't use, and I am having absolutely no reaction and no ugly cry to the red onion, which, by the way, is often a lot stronger than a white onion or a yellow onion. Otherwise, here's the other thing. You want to have the right tools handy, which happen to be, in this case, my food chopper, my number one. I don't want to ever live without it, because in a matter of seconds, I will chop up my red onion, and I won't just chop up the half of a red onion that this recipe called for. In fact, this recipe just called for half of a medium onion. I'm not going to just do half. I'm going to chop up the entire onion, use what I need in my recipe now, and take the rest and stick it in a Ziploc bag. I may even double bag it just to make sure that none of the fumes evaporate into my freezer and contaminate the rest of the contents of my freezer. But that way I have prepped once for 2 different recipes, because I'm going to use what I need now and have the other onion completely chopped and in the freezer ready to go for another day. And if you haven't seen the food chopper in action, here is how quickly it works. Can you see my cutting board? Let me see. Here are my wedges of red onion, okay? And let's see if you can count along with me. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Okay, 22 seconds, and I actually counted much faster than actual seconds, but even in my count, do you see how fast that all chopped up my red onion? And now it's ready to go for my black bean soup, which I'm making. I hope you enjoyed those tips, and I'll see you next time. Bye.